Hey everybody, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with another heavy rotation. This has been a great week. Christmas was this past week. It was a lot of fun. And got a lot of really cool records that I'm putting in the collection this week. So I'll start. I'll go through some of the ones that I have been looking for and finding, and also talk about some that I've been listening to, and then also give you an update on these music documentaries I've been watching. I've been finding a bunch of really cool ones, and people have been recommending a bunch of really cool ones to me. So, and I've been catching up. I put on Instagram, like, recommend me a, music documentary, and on YouTube. I've gotten hundreds of recommendations. So catching up on them, watching as many as I can. So I'll give you an update on that. So first one I found this week, which this actually came from a friend of mine. He had an extra. This is The Love Out Here. This is a fantastic album. You always see Love Forever Changes and Da Capo and all this stuff, but this is one you don't regularly see in the wild. This is a white label promo with that really sweet hype sticker on there. The only ones I've seen with the hype sticker have been the promos, and I think that's because they probably came that way without the shrink, because shrink on gatefolds, just forget about it. I mean, most people, they want to see that inside gatefold, so they take the shrink off. So this is a really great inside. But man, this is a kind of a different era of Love. There's some hard-hitting bangers on here. Some very, very good hard rock numbers on here, but as well as just psychedelic stuff. But this is a tip-top. I don't know that I could ever find a better copy of this record, and this is an incredible record. I think I have everything Love ever did. I know I do, but this is just one that I've been looking for a bit. My copy's like decent, but I'll be putting it in the shop probably this week for sale since I found this. But this is a tip-top copy. Love that album. Another one, this is an upgrade for me. This is the Seeds, a full spoon of seedy blues by the Sky Saxon Blues Band, which is the Seeds. This is a really cool hype sticker on there. That hype sticker is kind of tough to find. And a lot of people have been asking me to do a video about like whether you should remove the shrink and the hype stickers and all that stuff. I don't see how that will be a video of any substance. I might, but I love things that are in the shrink, especially if there's a hype sticker. The hype sticker just adds to the history of the record for me. So I love a good hype, and that one is really super cool. And so I'll be selling my copy I had of that and putting this one in my collection. Another one, good friend of mine, Ashley. He works in the shop. Super awesome dude. I don't think he watches my videos, but he, Ashley, for watching this, he's amazing. It's just kind of Johnny on the spot, anything I need. He works nearby as his full-time job, but he works at the shop part-time, like on the weekends and stuff. But anytime I need anything, he is like ready to help. He's the best. But anyways, he gave me this for Christmas. I've been looking for this forever. This is Howlin' Wolf's. This is Howlin' Wolf's new album. He doesn't like it, but he didn't like his electric guitar at first either. I had one copy of this a long time ago, and it was just destroyed. And I had like somebody who really needed a cover, and I basically just sold it to him for the cover because it was just so destroyed I wasn't going to put it on my turntable. So this kind of goes along with, there's a whole, on Cadet, there was a few different, late 60s, they were doing these albums, these blues guys that were getting kind of psychedelic rock bands together to back them and do these like electric blues albums. You had Electric Mud, which is my favorite. And then you had Lightning Hopkins' Freeform Patterns. And this is another one, Howlin' Wolf's. This is just an electric guitar record. And it is smoking. It is really good. And all the old blues guys did not like it. They didn't like doing it. But they're some of my favorite records. And I just love that era of blues and blues rock. It's just, it is amazing stuff. Another one I've been looking for this one. This is Miles Davis. Double image, Rare Miles from the Complete Double B Sessions. This is a record store day release. Now, I always, all the hype stickers on the inside. Look at that. A friend of mine brought this in. This is on red vinyl. A friend of mine brought this in. He said, I bought this on record store day because everybody was talking about it, and I didn't like it. I love it. I've been wanting this, and I saw it come out on Record Store Day, and I've said this before, but Record Store Day for me, almost everything, like there's nothing I hardly ever want, but there's always like one that I'm like, dang, I'd like to have that. This is one of those that I really wanted to get, and I have a friend that usually goes to Record Store Day early, and he's like, anything you want, send me a list, and I'll grab it for you, because I don't do Record Store Day, and he was actually getting this for himself, so I couldn't get him to get an extra copy, and it's just been kind of getting tough to find. But if you don't know, Miles Davis, early on he did hard bop, he did bebop, he did modal jazz. Then he started getting into a lot more jazz fusion, free jazz type stuff. This is tame for free jazz. It's not like crazy free jazz. But this is a lot more jazz funk, as far as like the brew goes. I call it Britches brew, because we're in the South. But anyways, but I love that album, and this is like some extra stuff from it, but it's really cool. Really cool stuff, man. I love that record, and this was a cool addition. If you watch my channel, I've been kind of dipping my toes into country music a little bit over the past couple years. When I was like 8 or 10, I started listening to like pop country radio, and my parents were like not having it. They were very fundamental Southern Baptist, and they were just like, that is too, some of the pop country stuff is about affairs and all that. I don't know. But anyways, and so that was one thing I'm grateful that they kind of shut me off from, because that was, Kenny Chesney, Toby Keith, all that, which, whatever. If you like that, that's fine. But I just don't like that type of country music. I don't like any country music really that's coming out today, except for like Tyler Childers and Chris Stapleton and people like that I do like. But all the pop country stuff, I'm not into that. So that kind of has given me over the years like pause with country music. I've always said I hated country music. But then, a couple years ago, started listening to Townes Van Zandt, which I talk about all the time. Guy Clark, all these guys, but Waylon Jennings is one I have not ever listened to a ton, but I've heard like you got to get this record if you're into that outlaw country, like there's a whole like thread of country musicians. If you ever seen the documentary Heartworn Highways, it's like I said, Townes Van Zandt, Guy Clark, David Allan Coe. I don't know if Charlie Daniels is. I think Charlie Daniels might be in there, but it's Steve Young, I think. But this is along the same lines, like not in that documentary, but like Blaze Foley, a bunch of these like just really, really good singer-songwriters that have that country music bend. And so this one is kind of in that thread. This Waylon Jennings record is one that's tough to find. I've been looking for it for a couple of years. It's got a lot of really great players on it. Steve Young is an amazing singer-songwriter. If you know the Eagles song Seven Bridges Road, he wrote that. He has an album called Seven Bridges Road. It's really good. But anyways, this is a really good, well-written country music album that I've just really been after. For me, country music is either amazing or like there's some stuff that's just insanely good, and then a lot of it's like it's okay. So like there's some Dolly Parton albums that are amazing that I'm after. There's a couple more Waylons I'll probably pick up at some point, but this is just one I've been wanting to get for my collection that I haven't seen ever. So someone traded this in a few weeks ago, I think, and I've just been listening to it at the shop. Like when I'm at the shop, that's when I listen to most of my music. Like at home, I might listen to 5 records a week here. I just don't, when I'm home, I'm in family mode, and we don't have a turntable in our living room because we have small boys and they'll tear into stuff. So I really like when I have time to myself and everyone's asleep or early in the morning, I might come out here and spin a couple records. But if I really have a lot of time and I want to listen to albums, it is at the shop. I'm there, the days I work, I'm there 8 hours and I'll play records all day. So that's kind of where a lot of my listening goes down. A few months ago, there was a sale on the Light in the Attic Records store. If you're not familiar with Light in the Attic, they do a lot of really good reissues of old, like psych, funk, soul, hard rock, all that stuff. They find these obscure records and they reissue them, and it's awesome. So they had a sale on their website, and I went a little nuts and bought a ton of stuff I didn't know what it was. I just blind bought like a ton of stuff. So this was one that I'd seen before, but I never really listened to much of. This is Spread Love, Corey Harris and Michael Orr. This is I've been listening to this at the shop a little bit. This is kind of a disco soul. So it's a very soulful record. It's definitely in the funk, funk parameter, but it's more soulful than anything, and really good during that late 70s disco soul funk era. Really good stuff. This is another one that they did. This is a band called Calendar. It's a monster. And this record is a monster. It is more funk disco. And this is, again, late 70s. Can't remember the exact year. But this is a really cool record. The original U.S. pressings are like $50. They're not super expensive or crazy, but this is a really good reissue to pick up. The glare is horrible. I never do videos during the day. I always do them at night. And today, like, we're all hanging in the house, and I was like, I'm going to go ahead and just shoot this video. But this is a really good, funky record. You can get it on their website, and I think I might have an extra in the shop. Because I bought two, one for a friend, and he ended up not wanting it, so I have a sealed one at the shop. This is another one, not from Light in the Attic, but this is a band called Pleasure, Dust Yourself Off. This is a really good, like, jazz funk type record. This is another one. The originals are like $40 or $50. They're not super expensive, but just a really good, funky jazz, soul, funk, fusion type record. Some really great grooves on this one. Love it. Great record. This is one, some guys came up from Georgia. They have a record store in Georgia called B&T Music, and they brought me like a crate full of records, and there's a couple I kept from there. This is Black Uru, the original Black Uru, Love Crisis. This is Maiden, Jamaica's Jamaican press. I think it's on Studio. No, it's on Jammies. But really good roots reggae stuff, early reggae. And I don't have a ton of early reggae in my collection. That's something I'm kind of working on. I've got a ton of Bob Marley, but everybody does. I'm kind of working on my early reggae stuff. And like, this is something I don't know a ton about, but I know enough. And enough to just be dangerous. And this Black Uru record I thought I'd pick up and keep for myself. Another one, my past couple of videos I've talked about this guy. This is Boogaloo Joe Jones. This is Right On Brother, I guess. And this is, good jazz, soul type of funky guitar and bass licks on here. But Boogaloo Joe Jones was a great guitar player. He's like George Benson, but a little bit farther out. Really good stuff. But that's a cool record that was in there. This is Iggy and the Stooges, Telluric Chaos. I've only really listened to the first three Stooges records like a billion times. And so I know that they came out with some records after they reunited, like in the 2000s. But this is one that a friend of mine traded in, and I thought I would hang on to and listen to a little bit. I did watch that Gimme Danger documentary, which was really good. This is another one, Ready to Die. I did listen to part of this. I had it blaring in the shop one day, and some older people came in there, and they were giving me the stank eye. And usually I don't always care, but the nature of the lyrics, I understood that they didn't care for it. And I try to be sensitive to everyone. So I did only listen to like a part of the first side. And I was like, these are like 80-year-old people looking for Frank Sinatra albums, and they're hearing this so I try to be considerate. This is another Leonard Skinner that I found as I was going through, guys. I know I joke about Street Survivors being not the most, everyone talks about it being like the rarest record in the world. It's not, but I did find 5 sealed copies of it in that big collection I just bought. So I had those on the wall. This is a Japanese pressing of Pronounced Leonard Skinner. Really cool. I kept it because it's a Japanese press, and it came from Paul's collection, and it was really good. A couple Iron Maidens that got traded in that I picked up. This is the Made in Japan mini LP. Kind of cool. This is a UK. And then this is a UK 12-inch Stranger in a Strangeland. I had the picture disc of this in that big collection I got, but I sold it. This is a pretty cool UK 12-inch of that. So, as I said before, I'm going to be picking up the Iron Maiden stuff when I get a chance. This is one I've been listening to at the shop a good bit. This is New York Dolls. This is The Shrink. Gosh, the glare is so bad on these. But really good. And a lot of people complained. Like, I did the whole series with Jeremy, the punk series. And a lot of people complained, you didn't talk about the New York Dolls enough. I know that. Like, if you imagine, you've got to talk about everything everybody wants you to talk about, or they're mad. That's how videos are. But I think we touched on the New York Dolls a little bit, but I didn't have any New York Dolls records with me at the time. I forgot to bring some, and anyways, all that to say, this is one I've been listening to, and I really like it. New York Dolls was pivotal in the birth of punk. Here's just some other random stuff. Epitaph. This is a cool, like, $10 psych record. I had this probably years ago when I wasn't into psych. I was just kind of really into classic rock, and I bought a collection that had this in it, and I was like, oh, that looks cool, and I put it on and listened to it, and I was like, huh, that's real crazy and out there and psychedelic, but it's like psych and prog influence. It's got, it's not too far out. It's still palatable for anybody who's kind of trying to break into psych. It's not one you see a ton, but it's not super valuable either. You can probably find them on eBay. I think I looked on Discogs, they had a bunch selling for like $6 to $10. So if you wanted to grab one, but that's a pretty cool psych record with some prog leanings to it. Some pretty cool stuff. This is another one, heads up. So we see Styx albums, $1 to $3 all day long, right? These are some that you don't see very often. But this is a Styx first record on wood and nickel. This is a killer record. I know, most Styx records aren't worth much. And they're good. Like, there's some really great songs on those, like, late 70s, early 80s Styx albums. I loved Styx growing up. But these early Styx albums are bangers. They are really good. This one's got some really good organ and guitar licks to it. Very early seminal prog type sound, and some psychedelic stuff on those. This is a really good one. And then also Man of Miracles is another one that's kind of tough to find. This was in that big mega collection, and I pulled them out, and I was like, man, I hadn't heard these in a long time and hadn't seen them in a long time. They don't come around very often, but those early Styx records, don't sleep on those. If you see them somewhere for cheap, because people will see Styx and they'll just price them at $2 or whatever. If you see them somewhere for cheap, grab them. They're good. They're good records. This is one I thought I had, and I still may have, but I looked it up on my Discogs and I didn't have it logged, which I don't have everything logged. I have like probably half or 2/3 of everything logged, so I'm still working on that. But this is a Count 5 Psychotic Reaction on Double Shot. I think I have it somewhere, but this is a super clean copy, and so I got to locate mine to see. I may have 2 copies now. I don't know. But really good early garage stuff. I love everything. Well, not everything, but the things I've found on Double Shot I really like. But this is a pretty cool record if you're into early garage and psych stuff. Oh boy, I'm going to stir some feathers. People are going to get mad at me. Okay, I'll talk about this. And I debated on bringing this up. Because this person comes with a very trigger. I'm going to get people that are very mad at me for showing this, which I think is stupid. But anyways, Ted Nugent is like a 4-letter word. You don't talk about Ted Nugent. I don't know why, but there was a lot of Ted Nugent in this collection I just got. But this is one I hadn't heard in a while. I used to like it when I was young. Growing up in the South, Southern rock, Ted Nugent was like a Southern rock icon. But because of, I'm just going to say, his antics over the years, he has been canceled before they had the term canceled. It's just kind of somebody that like is so triggering you don't talk about it. And I posted in my Instagram story like a clip from Stranglehold, and I was like, Ted Nugent, underrated guitar player. He's awesome. And I had so many people send me hate messages because I mentioned that Ted Nugent was a great guitar player. And I just was like, hey, if you put aside everything you don't agree with about Ted Nugent, his politics or whatever, if you just put all that stuff aside, we're willing to do it for Ryan Adams. We're willing to do it for Elvis Presley. We're willing to do it for Jimmy Page, who like married a 14-year-old girl or whatever. We're willing to do it for, you know, all these people. Anyways, Sid Vicious murdered his girlfriend, but we're okay with that. But because Ted Nugent has some antics, it's like there's certain things piss people off enough and you're not allowed to talk about it. But like marrying a 14-year-old girl, or like what Elvis like married his 14-year-old cousin or something, like that's okay. It makes no sense. Ted Nugent, underrated guitar player. I know he gets on people's nerves. I know people don't like his personality, and he has some things that people don't like, but so does everybody. Okay, my point is, I know I'm going to get so many comments. Don't at me. Just listen to me. He's a good guitar player. This is I think a good album. He's got some live stuff that's really good as well. Some great guitar licks. He's a really good guitar player. And, I mean, if you listen to the early Amboy Dukes albums, he's a great guitar player then as well. I mean, he was pivotal in that whole, like, blues rock psychedelic scene. And people just discount him because, you know, there's a lot of crazy people in the world. Not to say that the last time I mentioned Ted Nugent was like 2 years ago. And I was so general with it. I didn't say anything about, like, whether I agree with them or I didn't. I had half the people yelling at me because I say I liked Ted Nugent and I was this blah, 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 blah. And then half the people were like, why are you being so mean about Ted Nugent? He's great. And I'm like, no. So I'm not taking sides. Only side I'm taking is that Ted Nugent's a good guitar player. Okay, I'm done. But he's a good guitar player. That's all I'm saying. And if we're willing to overlook all these other people that have all these other problems, if you take away all the musicians that have baggage and that do crappy things, you have no music left. That's all I'm saying. I have been in the process of finding like promos. Like if I'm going to have a copy, like a regular copy of a record, just to be like the Eagles, the long run. I like it to be like a really clean promo. So I'm replacing all of my like regular copies of things with clean promos. So I do like the Eagles. This is a record I grew up with, so this is a nice clean promo. So I stashed it. This is another upgrade for me. This is a like super clean Will the Circle Be Unbroken by Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. It's got a hype sticker on it, which I don't think I've ever seen that hype sticker before. I get these all the time in the shop, but hardly ever see. I've never seen one with a hype sticker. So that came from Paul's collection, so I decided to keep it. If you don't know this record, it is bluegrass. It's all bluegrass. But it's like some of the most iconic, world-renowned, first-class bluegrass artists with Nitty Gritty Dirt Band singing just bluegrass classics. This was, I think, the second record I ever owned. And I absolutely love this album. It's nostalgic for me because I grew up listening to it so much. But this is a really, really cool record. So if you see it around, it's a good one to pick up. Dickie Betts, Highway Call. This is another one I didn't have in my collection. I see these every once in a while, but I don't pick up everything I see. But this one has a poster inside and all that stuff. And it's a good solid copy. Came out of Paul's collection, so I picked that up. This is another one, an upgrade for me. The only upgrade is that it's a promo. Steve Earle kind of gets lumped in with the Townes Van Zandt, Blaze Foley, people I was talking about, that whole vein of country music. He was very young during that whole scene, but he was around. So this is not during that scene. This is like late 80s, 88. But really good songwriting stuff. This is one I see every once in a while. This is like a $15 record. This is Graham Hine, Bottleneck Blues. I have seen it and sold it a few times and never thought much about it. And I was pricing records the other day and I threw it on. I was like, man, this is really good. You would not know that it was this guy singing. It's very good acoustic resonator type blues. acoustic blues type stuff. Very good. If you're into that type of thing and you see this, it's not too expensive. It's not going to break the bank, but it is good for what it is. This is some other stuff I got sold in yesterday. This one, Prefab Sprout. Two Wheels Good. I've seen a lot of people talk about this record in the past, and I've listened to it like a little bit, like clips of it here and there, and been like, meh, it's all right. But kind of just the vein I'm in right now with like discovering a lot of early pre-punk, punk, post-punk, new wave stuff. I've been kind of more open to that here lately. I found this. I was like, man, I'm going to throw this on again. This is like, it's in the whole post-punk type of, I know I'm not describing it well probably, but like indie type rock. But this is really good songwriting on this record. The songs are all really good. I really enjoyed this, sitting and listening to it yesterday. And so this is one I'm going to hang on to and listen to a good bit, because I know this is an important record. It's one of those that a lot of people will say, this is my favorite record. You know, this is one of those that a lot of people absolutely love. So that's one it's been on my radar. So when I saw it, I grabbed it. And this is another one that came in that collection, a Buzzcocks, A Different Kind of Tension. Really good, a little bit later Buzzcock stuff, but I've been into the punk stuff. And then The Outsiders, Time Won't Let Me, really good garage. The Outsiders, good garage band. And I was also going to tell you about some documentaries that I've been watching. So my favorite one I've seen lately, and the reason I watched this one is because I had so many people recommend it. It was The Devil and Daniel Johnston. It is a really good documentary. It was this guy that, but he just kind of marched to the beat of a different drummer, as they say. But he wrote some really good songs. They're not for everybody. They're a little out there and a little bit weird. But it tells a story about how some people call him the greatest songwriter who's ever lived, you know, but how he went from a kid and being an artist and all this stuff, and then starting to learn to play music and move into Austin and being a huge part of the Austin music scene. And he ended up on MTV and all this stuff, and just his record could never happen. And all these people wanted it to happen, but he was not a consumer friendly type of person. Like, he wasn't somebody his songs were going to be on the radio. They were good. They had good substance, but a lot of his songs were covered by like Pearl Jam and a bunch of other bands. Anyways, that's a really good documentary. Whether you like the music or not, the story is amazing. And then, so there's that one. I watched the Zappa documentary. It was pretty good. I watched Finding Fela, which was really good. Anyways, all that to say, some good documentaries there. Thank y'all for recommending me those. And thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the subscribe button, follow us on Instagram, and we will see you next time.